How long has it been? How many weeks?
Welcome!
It's been a month. Hello.
Has it really been a month?
It has,
Wow.
yeah. I just checked the site. Yeah, Christ. So we should have Charan and Kev. Oh, there's Kev. Speak of the devil.
You gotta fix this, mate.
Oh yeah, no, it's because I've got the Logitech Stream Cam, and the mount they give you for it only swivels on like a certain axis, and the way that my monitor is tilted, I can't. I mean, I can maybe support it with something. It just
We'll fix it in post. Oh, Kev's in the studio now. Amazing.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Perfect.
For a moment, your lips weren't moving. I thought this is not the real Kev.
Oh yeah, a little bit of a delay, just with the video, I think.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
we should have Charan as well. He messaged me not that long ago, like maybe 10 minutes ago. So, oh, Daniel.
What's up? It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has.
Quite a while.
Yeah. How have you been doing?
How's it going?
Good. Very, very busy. Usually I'm not up by this time, which is why I haven't been on.
Right. What time is
Wait,
it?
It's 1 p.m.
Right. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
you're
starting to
in.
get on a better sleep schedule. My sleep schedule used to be like, go to sleep at like 6 a.m. and then like get up at like 4. Like it was really bad.
Oh my god.
Dude, my entire 20s were like that. That whole decade.
Yeah, I have like a sleep coach now. But I mean, I was just basically like nocturnal at that point.
I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything during daylight. Like if the sun was up, I couldn't work. I mean, I did. Like I forced myself to go to work and actually do stuff. But like all creative stuff was like, nope, it's got to be like 1 a.m.
Well done on the 1 million, Daniel, as well, by the way, because that's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate you're close to 100,000, Curtis.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. It's taking a little bit of time. We're getting there.
I'm closing in on 80, so I shouldn't. I can't. So I'm gonna reverse this now, Dan. I'm gonna say I can't talk to you until I reach 1 million. No, wait. I have to have 500,000 now. That's because you said you didn't want to contact me until I had 10,000. So you had 10,000 followers. So now I gotta like reverse it and be like, all right, I need like 500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a weird time back then.
That's all right.
Just goes to show how quickly things change as well. It's crazy, crazy platform, crazy internet.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, YouTube is insane.
One video can make all the difference.
YouTube is like I don't know. I don't think it's one video that can make all the difference because there's a lot of people that like will go viral or something with one.
And then drop back down.
The hardest part, even harder than like going viral in the first place, is just like retaining viewership from that.
And a lot of people don't really know how to handle it or what to do with it sometimes, I think.
Yeah, I don't either. It's a tough thing. There's like there's a lot that goes into it.
But it's okay. You seem to be doing pretty well with yourself. How are you feeling mentally about everything or emotionally?
Oh, I am feeling so much better. I have been putting a lot of focus on like just like being healthy recently.
Good.
Which I used to not do at all. Like I would just kind of just like I would probably eat like one meal every 2 days and like not exercise like at all.
Damn.
And then go to sleep at like 6 a.m. But I'm getting so much better and it feels awesome. And I wish I would have done that earlier on.
Yeah. Yeah, you really should have. Yeah, well, I didn't realize it was that kind of intense. Damn.
You have time on your side, though. Like, man, I need to take that advice for myself. I just don't do it. I did have a stint for 2 years as a professional photographer. Like, I went out of animation, and this crazy, stupid leadership thing happened in my company, and like, so I was basically like forced to take up the camera. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I was like, so as a photographer, I was like running around all over the place with the camera, and I was in the best shape. I mean, like, there were times like my colleagues and I would have to climb like 100 stairs, and I was just like I would like be up there in a breeze, not even winded or anything, not even breaking a sweat, anything. And these guys are like huffing and couldn't make it. I was like,
That's funny.
that should have been me. Like I should have been the one huffing but I was like, it was incredible. And it's you're so right though, man. You feel great.
Yeah,
It's
it feels awesome. I love like after working out when you like lift your water bottle or something and it just feels like air. It's like oh yeah.
You're like, got like Hulk syndrome for the next, hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You close a door and it's like, oh, sorry.
Exactly.
My own strength.
My bad. Broke the door.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I remember
My bad broke the door.
we got a treadmill like years and years ago. We put it in the garage, and I remember, or the garage, or whatever. And
Just say garage. It's fine.
that we used to use it all the time, man. But yeah, whenever I used to walk back to the house afterwards, it would just feel so weird, like you were like on like a conveyor belt, just walking on autopilot. But oh man,
Yeah.
It's like, I walk so fast now.
yeah. Oh, we went to the driving range like a few days ago, which we haven't done in years, and oh my god, that place, like, technology's taken over. Because when we used to go there, for anyone that doesn't know, a driving range is just where you hit like golf balls down like a long field, basically. But when we go, they've changed it, so now there's like these touch screens where you can like compete with your like whoever you're playing with, and whenever you hit a ball out, it auto tracks where the ball goes, and it shows a 3D representation of where it goes on the touch screen, so you can see like how many yards it went, and it was crazy. But after that, I was like, oh my god, I'm unfit, because like every muscle that was used hurts. So oh god, got to keep back at it. But
Yeah,
man.
being inside, for over a year, we'll do that.
It does.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the big Rona.
The thing. Yeah.
I'm so over it. I literally
Rolling
was so
cars.
over it like a few months ago. Like I'm just done. It's so annoying that we're still dealing with that.
Yep.
It's
It's
been like 2 years.
it's not gonna end until until people just get smart.
You know what to do.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
No, I won't say it. I won't say it because then we'll get a little pop-up that's,
Oh
we
yes.
don't want. That'll say,
Yeah.
this is the information, but you know what to do. And if you're not doing it, you know you're not doing it.
Exactly.
It's, I mean,
That's what it comes down to.
one of the real shames is that we're not going to get another conference this year.
I
Alright.
know. I was looking forward to that. I've never been to a Blender conference, and I'm
Me
like
either.
a Blender YouTuber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Maybe 2022 will be the year where we all see each other in person, and you're all different heights from what I expect you to all be.
Oh wait. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Wait. How old are you guys? Not how old. How high are you guys? How tall are you guys?
How high?
Oh, how high?
Sorry. I'm trying to pick the words. How?
Stratosphere. Pretty
Which
much.
question should I answer?
Yeah.
Which
Pick one.
Okay. How tall am I? 5 feet 10 inches.
All right.
Which
You're
is-
taller than me.
Almost 2 meters, but not quite actually.
What about you other guys?
Right.
I'm
5'8".
5'4",
Oh, okay.
Are you-
Interesting.
Are you 5'4"?
162 centimeters. Yep, I'm a
Wow.
dwarf.
Ah, okay.
All right.
I'm so used to being the short one. Daniel, do you know your height? Or
5'8".
5'8"? Okay, I'm 5'7", I think. 5'7" or 5'8". I think it's 7.
I'm about 5'8" on a good day. If I wear my docks, I'm like 5'9", 5'10".
Right. Okay.
But
I need to wear heels.
that's with docks. That's with my Doc Martens. My waffle makers that kick through people's shins. Those things, from that song "The Bruise" from NoFX. Anyway, yeah. So that's yeah. Oh, that's cool.
How tall are
So
you,
like,
Curtis?
Wait, how tall am I? Did you say?
Yeah.
5'7", I believe it is.
Okay. Interesting.
all right.
Wait, so I just said it's almost 2 meters, but I had to look it up to check myself. That's 6.5 feet, and no one corrected me on that. So, so it's not anywhere close.
Oh, that's-
Mr. Beast is like
right on.
6. I want to say 6'7" or 6'8". Like Mr.
Wow.
Beast is really,
wow.
really tall.
Is he that
That is
tall?
fun.
Damn.
He is intimidating, dude.
Wow. That's
He
you know what?
fits
Like
the
my
name.
my
I felt
brother.
like a child in his presence.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I
like
guess I was a child technically, but
Yeah. Well,
he's not that much older.
wait. Yeah. How
But
old is
yeah.
he? How old is he?
He's like 24.
He's got to be
no,
20.
he's like 22, dude.
22, yeah.
Oh,
he's
22?
22.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
Oh, 23.
23. 23.
He's my age.
He keeps aging.
How tall are you, Charan?
I am seven, I think. Yeah.
7 feet tall?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
That rock. That
I
little
did
pet
not
rock
see
must
that
be-
one.
I could just about see him over the horizon when I look out the window.
I've
It's
seen
you
the
look
Great
out and it's like,
Kali.
I see hair.
The Great Kali.
I am
Wow,
five-
throwback.
5'8", 5'7", 5'8", somewhere there.
Oh my god, we're like all around the same height.
That's interesting.
Thank God. Like I don't have to like look at you like this when I meet you.
There are quite a few tall people. Like when I went to the Beacon 2019.
Arendelle. God.
Aaron
God.
must be
Aaron's
tall,
tall.
yeah.
But Tom
6'3", dude.
Ton is tall, I think. Simon Thomas was taller than me, I remember, and
What?
Zach,
Oh no.
I think. Yeah. There's a lot of tall people, but I'm glad that we've got like small people in the short game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I don't like. I mean, every man in my family has just like shot past me. It's just the most bizarre thing. Like any kid is now like five, like probably like 6 feet tall. Like my brother is 6'4".
Oh.
I'm like, it's like twins, like that movie Twins. It's like I'm Danny DeVito. It's like how the doesn't matter though. I did learn. I did learn on a physical level though, man. Like when you do MMA, height doesn't really matter all that much.
Right.
Ability to stay fighting matters more than anything.
Stamina.
And that's where like you know, being in shape helps.
Are you predicting the next Blender conference to be a bit rough and ready?
No, but I am anticipating some troll confrontations. So just in the back of my mind, it'll never happen because people in real life don't do that. You know, they'll be like keyboard warriors, but when you get like in somebody's face, it's like no. But you know, the world is going crazy, so who knows? You know, I anticipate fun.
Okay, by the way, is this the first Blender conference with my new chair? I think so.
By conference, do you mean the
Nest.
BlenderNest?
Yeah.
The Nest. I like that
this is
chair.
professional. This is good.
Thank
This
you.
is the Blender conference in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I actually did attend. I attended SIGGRAPH last week,
Oh.
or 2 weeks ago, whenever it wrapped. 2 weeks ago now.
1 week ago.
And it was all virtual, but I gotta say, man, it was really, really good, even virtual. And I love going in person. I'm an extrovert. Like I'll just walk into a party and just be like, hey, what's going on? But this was so cool because you got like it was we were able to sign on Discord, and there were like all these people from all over the place, and like people from studios and people from like, you know, their bedrooms and people, I mean, just a whole mix of people. And it was really cool. It was doable.
So wait, they did it on Discord?
Yeah, well, they did it on like they had a website, so they had their own interface, and they were like piping in live videos and pre-recorded videos and all sorts of stuff to the SIGGRAPH.com website space. They were using like event site or something like that. Some like Eventbrite or something like that. But they also had a Discord channel tied in so that you could talk about the stuff that you see on Eventbrite in real time as it's happening. So it was just wild. And all the talks and everything were so cool. And I found too that when you go to like Blender Beacon is you're kind of like in one place, and you got the talks, and you know it's just kind of like a one auditorium type thing, right?
Yeah.
Like SIGGRAPH is a whole, like it takes over, like when it's in LA, it like takes over the convention center, and it did in Anaheim, and I think Vancouver's next year. It just takes over. So you have all these different rooms and classes, and you have the floor going on at the same time. I mean, it's just massive. So the cool thing was that being virtual, you had these chat rooms, and you could go on and talk about the videos, and the stuff that was playing was a lot of the times was recorded, so that they would pipe it in after it was finished, so you could go back, watch it, and still talk to people about it.
Right. Okay, that's cool.
So it was like, it was like being able to clone yourself in live SIGGRAPH and have like 10 of you go out on, you know, into the convention, and at the same simultaneously. So that was a benefit.
Okay, really obscure Harry Potter references, a bit like Hermione kind of jumping into class. You know what I mean? Okay.
She has a little.
Okay. Don't want to spoil things. Okay. I'm sorry. That's really geeky. But I will just say, on the 2019 conference, there was kind of like two main rooms. They had like the main theater, and then they had a kind of smaller side room. And
okay.
sometimes interesting talks would overlap, so you'd have to kind of make a judgment. Okay, what one do I want to listen to? But those were all uploaded anyway, I think. So yeah, same thing, kind of cool. But yeah, it was just like
Sure.
2 main rooms, and I think there were like one
Just
or two
get a
others.
time
But
turner. What's wrong with you?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just needed one of those Harry Potter things. But yeah, but it was really, I mean, it was really, really cool. And honestly, there's so much coming our way. Stuff that I've seen. It's incredible.
Yeah,
It's
it's really
thing-
exciting stuff.
yeah, it's gonna light up.
Simulations are getting faster.
There's
Yeah.
but when right before COVID hit, the team I was working with was meant to go to NAB, and then NAB last minute had to switch this North American Broadcasting Convention, I think. Don't quote me on that, but um,
Oh, NAB, yeah.
NAB, yeah, and so anyway, they had to go fully virtual, and it was great, but I think some people dropped out in attendance, and then obviously since we've been mostly remote or virtual or online for over a year now. It's been great to see all these different conferences kind of open up and draw people in that wouldn't have otherwise either had the time or the interest or the ability to either watch something in real time and participate on a Zoom like conference or a stage, whether that's on Clubhouse or on Discord, but also the
Yeah.
replayability, which often, or at least in the cases of conferences that I've been either attending or interested in watching, there's like a paywall where, oh, the conference is over and you can watch this recorded lecture or this recorded hall town hall meeting or fireside chat, but you have to pay $15. And then, you're not even you didn't get to go and see it in person and ask questions. And then obviously you have to pay afterwards. Meanwhile, with like SIGGRAPH, because I remember I think last year or the year before that, there was also a Discord channel that was open for some a Discord server for some of the papers that were being talked about.
Oh yeah.
And it was so interactive. So it's leagues better. And yeah, like you say, it's like being able to like clone yourself and then go and watch all these different talks at your own leisure.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm really excited about, as well as obviously the content, is to see how these kind of conventions take what we've learned in the past year and a half and move forward and make things bigger and better and more accessible as well.
It's true. And when all these minds come together, it's one thing, like we build a community here and we have BlenderNest and we have our Discord server, which is really cool. So if you haven't signed up yet, go there. It's awesome because you can share ideas in a community and say, but when you have like people from all over the world converging, and for that one particular thing, it's mind blowing. I cannot predict where this is going to be 5 or 10 years from now.
I was chatting today about Polycam specifically, if we can kind of do a quick tie-in segment there, because I was able to. This was a photo. Wait, where the hell? This is my microphone. This you'll thank me for this.
It's Rorschach.
Oh,
Cat.
cute.
Oh, a cat.
/Ziggy/Elmo, and this was
Nice.
taken with Polycam's photo mode this morning.
Pretty
That was
good.
a Rorschach moment. So you guys are seeing a cat, right?
Yeah.
It's not just me,
Yeah.
right?
No, it's a
Okay.
cat. Yeah.
And yeah, so long story short, the conversation was I was wondering how much of everyone kind of being at home working on remote workflows, people being really in tune with making pushes and advancements in LiDAR technology and this photogrammetry tools, and how much the recent year and a half have contributed to the fact that this was kind of not unthinkable, but not really doable a year and a half ago when I was playing with Displayland and it was very, choppy. And now you've got
Yeah.
Polycam's photo mode, and it's like, okay, so they've knocked that one out. Where are we going next? It's
know.
really exciting. It's really, really exciting.
I think with like everything being centered around the home and individuals now, it's a lot about individual power, like, and how much you can do effectively as a person, and kind of figuring that out. Because when beforehand, when people have been going to the workplace for everything, it's very easy to kind of forget about individual power and efficiency, just say, okay, well, everything's centralized to a company. But when you're actually forced to try and make the most out of everyone, like in your business, I think it kind of brings a bit of a different mentality about things. I think people start to realize what they can do, and maybe that transfers also over to, you know, companies and software developers, tool development and stuff, and seeing what you can do with the technology available to individuals. And in this case, it's phones and what we can do with them.
Yeah.
And especially coupling that with other technologies as well. I think the Polycam photo mode uses some kind of Apple machine learning thing.
It does, yeah. It's the latest object capture, I think it's called.
So by coupling those things together, new advancements and this kind of, you know, hands-on power, I think it's just really cool, and that's just going to go further and further.
There's that sort of rig on steroids. Just posted it in the voice chat. Watched the video today. They're using that, not just that technology of LiDAR scanning, but actually surrounding the characters of a film and capturing them in, you know, I don't know how many cameras there are, but it works as a 920k image on the Linus Tech Tips channel there. But that is absolutely phenomenal, the way that they use the glitches in the information. You know, when you get holes in your mesh when you've done photogrammetry and it's not quite there, they use that as part of the film experience, which is such a clever way of using something that most people would see as a disadvantage, is actually adding to the story.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I had a quick look at that video earlier. It was pretty cool. That almost reminds me of like when denoising was like starting to be added to Blender, and it wasn't really working well, but it had some cool effects. And like if you used it
stuff, smearing.
And if you used it in some creative ways, you'd get some really cool effects. But the problem with that is like the technology advances, so those effects have a lifespan because you won't be able to make use of them forever.
Unless if you go back, like, you know, Blender has its own versions. You always dial back.
I remember when denoising first came out, I was like, this is so cool. What can I do at one samples? And you ended up with a suite of, obviously, mess a lot of the time, but occasionally you ended up with a very pastel-y sort of oil painting type result from it. I was like, you know what, that works. That gives me what I need. Move on.
With motion blur, it was like next level, dude. I really liked it.
Yeah. Really cool to think about the way that some, for example, like the crackling or turning on of an old like CRT TV or something like that, or CRT TV, that's redundant. But you get the idea. Like now I see these effects quite a bit, like the VHS effect on films and stuff like that. So I wonder, you know, how long down the line it'll be before we start to get some of the glitches we're running into today to have that kind of like vintage vibe, like, oh, remember, wow, that's you know, it's 2050 and that's an effect from, you know, denoising or something like that.
One thing I really like, which but we don't really see in the kind of retro space now, is the 80s kind of color cameras, where whenever there was a strong light source, it would leave this massive trail. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember that? Because like on the old like Doctor Who videos and stuff, that was all over the place. Like the camera would move and you just have like this big kind of glowing trail going across the screen. And something about that I loved, but yeah, we don't really see that now.
It really puts you in that time or that space, or just immediately snaps you back to, oh, why is that? You know, what is it about that has a quality that is striking me in some way? Polycam has a Discord server, and Discord specifically, clearly, at least for us, has been a great source of community and getting together with people and chatting with others. And obviously that has seen a massive surge too in recent 2 years. But it's so great to see also how much of the actual community contributions, feedback has helped these tools develop in and kind of walk a path that is mutually agreed upon by the large swaths of either, you know, investors or people who are actually using the tool. That's not something that I at least was familiar with at this scale, you know, before, I don't know, when I was in school, I guess. But that's the sort of thing that people who are, you know, 15 now are growing up with. Just being able to kind of ask a question to 100,000 experts across the world at any given time and get an answer. That's an exciting future ahead.
The technology that you're talking about, the, you know, the Polycam, all this stuff, the Zoom, you know, all this virtual technology that really was pushed because we had to, because you know, once in 100-year pandemic hit us. Like, the advances are so great now that there were talks, and this came up time and again in the question and answer sections for, like, when ILM spoke of Mandalorian, or excuse me, Disney talk about Raya and the Last Dragon, or there were a number of different films that were produced and largely work from home. So, like, Raya was done tremendously at home. I mean, they were saying that they were doing, like, dailies on iPads. Like, that's how crazy it got. So the virtualization of our industry has just exacerbated in the last 2 years, and so much to the degree that a lot of studios are now offering, a lot of facilities are now offering, you know, jobs remote, and the question is up in the air. Like, are we going to return full time to studios? And the question that came up time and again is, we've proven that we can do this remotely. So for some things, you know, are better in person, but largely we can do this work remotely. And that is a huge change to our industry. I mean, this wouldn't have even been on the table 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like, no way, we could never do visual effects at a distance. We could never make this happen. And then the pandemic hits, and it's like, all of a sudden, wow, we're still working. This works. So it's opening up opportunities that wouldn't have existed 2 years ago. It's a pretty crazy time.
If this was the case back then, like a few years ago, I probably wouldn't be doing YouTube. Because I remember when I was going through my phase of applying to, like, every visual effects company in London, and, like, not getting an interview with any of them, even though I'd worked with, like, a couple of them, like, on sets, but they were filtering out, like, applications based on, like, uni degrees and stuff, so it wasn't really fair anyway. But yeah, like, visual effects companies and game companies, they had no remote roles, or like one or like two max, and it was for, like, some hyper specific things. And, like, I had my own requirements. Like, I've always had, like, medical issues, like, on and off. Even a couple of days ago I was in bed with vertigo again, and I'm like, okay, it's okay now, thankfully. But it, like, even back then it was like, so I wish there was just a remote role, even if I didn't get paid as much, because it would just give me something to work with. But everywhere's just like, no. And, like, when you're, like, so deprived of anything to do, there's just such a motivation to do something yourself. And there was so many forces on me, like, emotionally, and it was a really stressful time. But a lot of those factors kind of pushed me into doing, you know, this kind of content again. And I feel like maybe if the job space had been a bit more relaxed about that kind of thing, part-time and or remote work, then I might have actually been able to find something, and that would have been a different thing. So it just goes to show how much everyone and each of us on a personal level are changed by not only the changes, but, like, how it was. There's a timeline of society, and I think it changes very quickly, but you don't always realize it. But I think this is one of those situations which forces you to look at it through, like, a magnifying glass and say, yeah, actually, you know, looking back on it, that was quite a different time.
If pandemic wasn't there in between, I don't think so I would have started my YouTube channel. I don't think so I would have pursued this career in the first place, because I would have been in college and I would have gone through that field and did my robotics and whatever. But honestly, this actually literally turned all my career around, and now I'm only doing 3D and nothing else, which is crazy. And pursuing a career right now, that's I never expected that to happen. And it took so much time to convince my parents that, okay, this is actually something which is valuable and, you know, which is so special to me. They were so confused until I got my first job offer, which I didn't apply for, which was crazy again. So they're like, okay, you're doing good, so let's go, like, do whatever. And they're now allowing me to pursue they're allowing me to go to college for visual effects, which is pretty crazy. I have to, like, apply soon. But
That's great.
Yeah.
it all
There are quite a
happened
few in
during
the
the
world.
pandemic.
It's really turned a lot of ideas on their head. You know, I used to get these emails from a company, I think it was called Dream Remote or Remote.io or something catchy like that. How would you like to win a scholarship for $50,000, get paid to work remotely from these 5 different countries for a whole year? And you know, the whole catch was that you would be doing some work for them, presumably, like, doing social media stuff, but they would place you in Turkey and all these other exotic places and whatnot. Now I wonder, I haven't gotten a single email from them because you know, everybody's, for the most part, I guess, just working remotely. So it's not the sort of thing that's now this like dream getaway, dream, oh, what if I could work from anywhere? It's like, no, it's kind of been proven that for most occupations you can work from anywhere. So now I want, you know, it's just what will be the next dream. But now even in the same way, like maybe Charan, for your, you know, if you want to, like in the future, your kids or grandkids or whatever, or people like you or around you won't look at 3D graphics artist or, you know, 3D generalist as
Yeah.
an impossible or something that's dubious, because you'll have lived it and you'll know
Yeah.
that it's totally doable. So that's yeah, exciting
I mean,
futures ahead times 3.
one thing about, you know, like proving about, you know, I can pursue this career is like not many people like around me or who my parents know don't know what I do. And every time I get a call from them, I have to explain this is what I do, and they'll be like, okay, engineering is better, you know. They just
Yeah.
and they just don't get it. Like, I mean, obviously, because you know, most of the time, if you come to India, it's either become a doctor or an engineer. I mean, even Curtis, how many doctors do you know that are Indian in your place?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to get like any flack. Almost every single one is Indian. It's not. It's not like a. It's not just a stereotype or a cliche. That's a cultural thing. Yeah, almost everyone.
Yeah, it's because India produces large number of doctors and engineers every year, and if I go to another career, like, you know, you can say that you get really less paid, but then you're still an engineer. They'll be like, oh, wow, okay, you got a job doing engineering. That's for this. But if I just say like I'm working on myself and, you know, personal career on YouTube, if I say I do YouTube for a living, people would literally look at me like, you don't have any other life. I was like, okay, but that's not the case. I'm actually like in a pretty good position where I can make myself sustain on what I'm doing. So, but then I have to explain them because or else they keep pesterizing my parents, saying like, "What is your son doing? He's 21 years old. Hasn't he got a job yet?" I was like, I just told them, just tell them I rejected the job that I got, so they'll just be quiet or something.
Exactly.
Oh man,
I'm
I
smirking
did
because
reject the few jobs, which is like, you know, I'm not lying or something. It's just I didn't go for it. Like, I had engineering opportunities, which I worked so hard to get in, but then after a point, I just lost interest in that field, so I just moved on and didn't go for the whole thing. And it took some time for my parents to, like, you know, understand that I have higher education plans and everything. But then once once my mom said he didn't sit for placements, they kept asking every week that what is your son doing now? Like, it is so bad. I
Like
couldn't
it's
do.
their business.
Yeah, it is their business. You know, that's
Yeah.
exactly their business.
It's been really cool seeing, because I've been speaking to you for a lot of that journey, and I remember speaking to you, Charan, when you've been upset on like a couple of days when like you've had like a bad conversation with your parents or something, and then you come on, you're like, oh, it's just I don't know if this is possible and all that, and so it's been really kind of heartwarming seeing you kind of stick with it, and now that you know you've got this freelance stuff going on, it's very cool. But yeah, like even over here, it's been really tricky trying to explain to people what you do, and like it's been funny listening to anecdotes of like my mum and my dad understand it because they're, you know, they're very bright people, they're on point with it, and like my mum doesn't watch the videos, she likes them, my dad watches them, but it's funny because when they try and explain it to people, it's tricky for them to do it, so it's interesting listening to them try and explain it to other people. And my granddad, bless him, is a lovely person and he's quite bright as well, but like he said to some people like, oh, he's a blender, he's a blender. I'm like, okay, yeah, close enough. But yeah, like
especially
I'll change like the wording when I try and explain it to people. I'll be like, oh, okay, if you know someone's like internet savvy, I'll be like, oh, content creator. But if it's someone that doesn't know, I'm like, oh, I make educational content for people. And then like you can take like steps further back. Oh, I run a YouTube channel, because you think, okay, well, people probably know about YouTube, and then it's like you just keep stepping it back and making it more and more abstract just to make it make sense. Anyway, yeah, Arturo, what are you gonna say?
it's kind of in the same vein as that. Like, so we just moved, and several times, either meeting strangers or family, the question has come up, so what do you do or what? And I'm like, how do I explain this? Or we're talking about somebody, a third party, usually somebody in BlenderNest, and it's like, well, they're, this. How do we explain that? And I think educational content creator
Yeah.
or, teachers, in some ways kind of encompasses it in a way that I'm more comfortable with because I do strongly believe that. But I hate like the label content creator because anybody can be a content creator. Like I'll just let me just create some content right now, real quick. There you go. So I'm a content creator. That's what I do, and it's not really a lot. It doesn't encompass the fullness of what you all and like what we accomplish here, like having a BlenderNest server and having separate community servers for each one and managing those and creating educational content to teach people, but also creating resources and also creating your art. It's not artists, it's not content creators, not educate. It's so difficult to explain.
Yeah.
So that whenever that question comes up, man, it's like, what do I say? I just do this. And Charan, you were saying earlier something that sparked a thought. I wrote it down here. It's like when people ask you, what do you do? Right. So in the same vein of what we're talking about, people are always asking, what do you do? So what do you do for work? What do you do for work? And that's such a blag as well, because you should be asking, and I did ask this of somebody recently and really touched a nerve. I'm like, but are you happy with what you're doing? Are you doing the thing that you're doing right now because like it sounds good on paper because you enjoy doing it? One of the two. And I think there was some truths that were discovered in the moment that wouldn't have surfaced in that way if I hadn't asked that question. Because what do you do is just like, I feel like when people ask that, they don't really care half of the time. It's not like
They
they're gonna
don't.
hire you for something right away, especially if you're just
Yeah.
meeting in a casual situation. "Oh, what do you do?" "Well, I'm a plumber." "Oh, great," 'cause, so I don't really know where I'm going with this, but the
People
whole,
ask,
what do you do? Are you happy? And how do you define what you do is such an interesting topic.
Yeah.
yeah, people ask
Exactly.
you that because they want to mentally, they want
Label.
to put you, they want to label for
Yeah.
you. They want to say like where you fit in society. Are you like, where are you based on where they're at?
Yeah.
You know,
It's been
Sometimes.
interesting to
it's
meet
always
some
just,
people,
yeah.
and have, because I don't do this, but meet people and then they'll say about a third party that's not present. "Oh, so and so, she's a lawyer, 6-figure
Okay.
salary, this, that." I'm like, I don't have those connections of like, so and so does this, and this is probably how much they make. Like, I don't really care like that. But the fact that that's a mentality just speaks of why we are where we are in the negatives at today. That's like my opinion. Anyway.
That kind of makes me think like if I tend to avoid talking about like I don't mention software development, I don't mention products, I don't mention the 3D artwork when people ask me what I do, even though that's like the big part of it, like because YouTube is just the thing that people understand, because like what percentage of the population watches YouTube? It's like a pretty chunky percentage. But it kind of makes you think, if you're meeting someone a bit like maybe higher class, a bit of a weird term, I might just say software developer. Just like pick one of the ones that's got like a different connotation to it. I just be like, okay,
Depending upon the situation, the person you're talking
today I'm the software developer.
Today, today this one's the one that's kind of more important, and this is the badge that I'll wear. But it's also interesting, like the thought process of feeling. I don't know if you all maybe have come across this, but in conversations with people, definitely having to feel like you have to justify. It's like, oh yeah, but I do this, but I really like it. Or talking about somebody else, like, well, they do this, but they make this much doing it. Yeah. Does
There's
that
kind of
happen
like
to you, Danny?
I feel like there's been like a stigma against like if you say you're a YouTuber, it's like, oh, okay, so you're unemployed. That's awesome.
yeah, exactly. Fun employee.
Not in LA.
Exactly. That justification, but I mean, I don't know. I used to like not want to call myself a YouTuber because it's like basically that means like, oh, you yeah, exactly, you're unemployed or something. But now it's funny because like if I say like, oh, I am a YouTuber, and then people get like that tone of voice like, oh, that's so cool, how many subscribers do you have?
What's your channel name?
I'm like, oh, well, you can look me up, just look at my name. And then they look and they're like Oh,
Yeah.
it was kind of like a ego thing, but
Yeah,
no,
that'll
it
be
is really interesting that how like diverse all the different things that people do are. Like you can't really say you're a YouTuber. It's more like you're a marketer in a way. You're either like a marketer or you're a community manager, or like most of my job is honestly strategy, less production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's different for everybody.
What I think about Blender artists and Blender content creators is like we have a wide range of jobs, you know. It's like a rainbow. We have all variety. We are our own self-content creator. We are our own business manager. Like, you know, we do business on YouTube. We make artwork, which could be one of the colors in the rainbow, I think. It's wide variety of stuff that we do, and we build our career and our business around this one particular thing. It's not restricted to YouTube. If YouTube goes down, you can still live with what you have built around it, because it's your
Yeah.
name that you marketed more than the channel. Like, you know, it's the channel, it's the name.
Just being a YouTuber, obviously, a load of them will fall into the crap category. But
Yeah.
not only are you presenting information to people, you are timing it perfectly. You're producing this content. You're adding music tracks to it. Maybe you are editing it. You know, very few people are just going to click record, chuck it out, leave it. So you're actually using a vast array of skill sets of videography. If you've actually got a camera on as well, you know, have you focused on setting up lighting and all that lot? And a lot of us do. If you
And
don't have your
scheduling.
face on the screen, yes, scheduling. I'm rubbish at that
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
And then you've got all
Yeah, me too.
then you've got all
Me
the
too,
the
dude.
social stuff around it as well. If you want to grow, you have to interact with your community. You don't. Well,
Yeah.
I believe you have to interact with your community. That's what I want to do. But ultimately, you could also not. I know plenty of people who say, I don't read the comment section. I just do my own thing and carry on. And that's works for them. It doesn't work for them. Whatever. But you
Yeah.
wear so many hats as a professional YouTuber. I think there's a difference there. You're not just posting up gameplay video without editing it, which I think a lot of people might have in their minds when you see someone says YouTuber. All the kids at school these days, well, not all of them, but a lot of them, they want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
It's the new
Yep.
celebrity.
It's like
type
the
thing.
number one or
It
number
is.
two kind of
Yeah.
most desired one. I think I saw a UK poll about it, and it was like
Yeah.
number one, I think.
It's like,
Yeah,
do
it
you
is.
realize what this actually entails?
I feel like I was kind of born for this, because what I mean
Amazing.
is like,
I've got Queen in my head now. Thank you.
Well, what I mean is like when you're lucky enough to maybe have the freedom to kind of mess around and do what you like and get paid for it, which is such a privilege, when you look around the world, you get maybe tunnel vision in on how you respond to different tasks and how you feel about things, what makes you happy, what doesn't. I've always said it on this podcast as well, if we can call this a podcast. It's just on YouTube. It's just a channel. What is this? It's a podcast.
A chat.
A conversation.
Yeah, it's a conversation.
Chat,
It's a community chat.
conversation, yeah.
I've always kind of said that my interest changes very quickly, and if I'm stuck doing one thing for too long, I go mad. I get like really anxious, really mad, so I can't see myself in an office job. And this is like, this line of work is designed for that. Like, if I want to be the business manager for like a week, you can just focus in on all the business related tasks. If you want to be the artist, do that. And whenever you swap, the other things don't die, they don't go away. I mean, sure, you might maybe lose out on some certain variables or whatever, but it's always there. And it's like, it's the most adaptive like profession I can think of. And maybe I've just kind of fallen into it just by maybe exploring that, like what I enjoyed, and maybe I've just fallen into this by like circumstance. But it just feels like, yeah, this is like the perfect combination of things. So I guess I'm extremely lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah,
Disposition plays a lot into that as well, because you have to be the sort of person that's okay with not necessarily context switching or task switching, but just going, because we've talked a bit, and I think you've shared this on the podcast here and Holtcast as well, that you like to do one thing. You'll be working on 1 week, you'll be working on an artistic project, and then you're like not burnt out, but ready to start working on a coding project instead. And that oscillation between, okay, now it's this and now it's that and now it's the other, doesn't work for everybody. And also not everybody is either happy doing that or can do that. So, personality and disposition, I think, goes a long way with that as well, because it's not sustainable unless you can find a way to make yourself enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you brought that up. I have this the way I kind of like make myself like not get tunnel vision on stuff is I have like this like skill tree of like YouTube skills in a Google sheet, and I like turn it into a game, like focus on like administrative stuff or consistency or branding or whatever. Then I try to tie it to some objective standard and then focus on. I do like a major task and a minor task every day. And so like I'll spend an hour each day on like the skill tree.
A few weeks ago, I started adding a point system to my layout, and I was doing I've got like a notepad for it, and I've done it in a note format, so if I wanted to write a program to kind of automate things, it would be easy to write. And I do things like whenever I prepare a video, so like if I get all the ideas down, that's a set number of points. If I record, that's another set number. If I edit, that's a set number. When I publish, that's that. So like every stage of that thing, it's like a gamification element. And then like I see that as a reward. Like I haven't implemented this yet, but I look at that and I think, okay, well, that's like an X amount of time I can spend on doing things I enjoy or buying things for myself. So it's just funny that like that same thing pops up. It's kind of cool to see that another organization.
It changes all the time. Like I used to do the points based on individual tasks as well.
Yeah.
But the problem is like at a certain point, does that like discourage spending like going over the top on things? Because a lot of YouTube is like based on that. Like viewers can tell when you go like above and beyond on any given thing, even if it's subconsciously. And so what I try to do is set up like a pipeline where it's like, okay, 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, whatever it is, and then organize like the tasks beforehand so that I don't know. It's hard to make YouTube reliable, and that's kind of what I've been focusing on.
Yeah.
Because everything like we talked about earlier, every task is so different. So yeah, it's tough to get a reliable pipeline going. But I enjoy that like administrative side of things, and it helps when you have like an editor, a scripter, things like that.
Yeah, very true. Well, thanks for sharing. That was interesting.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
great.
one more thing. Mr. Beast, just so you know, like he is insane. Like he's got hundreds of employees, like hundreds, like several locations, several warehouse locations, and hundreds of employees, all working on different stuff. And he is like so like built into like the society of that town. We had to go get like COVID tests to meet him, and we pulled up to the test clinic, and they texted us. They're like, okay, just go to the testing clinic and say Mr. B sent you. So we go to the testing clinic, and they're like, okay, you got to actually get an appointment. You can't just drive up like this. And then we say, oh, actually, Mr. B sent us. And they're like, oh, right this way, and get us in and out of there in like 15 minutes.
That's brilliant.
And we get our results in like an hour. It was insane.
Jeez.
So, real quick, I watched this video, the latest James Blake music video. If you haven't watched it, it's a good one. It's called Say What You Will. And at the end, there's this quote. It says, comparison is a thief of joy.
That's so true. That's why I don't compare myself to Daniel.
That's it.
Oh my gosh.
Or really
But
anyone. You're on your own path.
It's so easy.
But I
to
think
just,
there's a distinction to be made between comparison and just like market analysis. Because you can't just like it's hard on YouTube to just kind of be in your own bubble, because like trends and suggested traffic is a thing.
It is.
It's like you have to kind of be aware at least. So I think you can do market analysis if you can separate yourself personally from the process and separate your YouTube stats from yourself personally. Then I think that's where the distinction is.
Of course. No, this is a mental note or a note to the viewership inspired by a mental note that I made to myself as I heard Mr. Beast. Because the first thing that comes to mind is like, actually living true to the name, like I said earlier, an actual beast in terms of the behemoth that is the channel, but also it feels to people who haven't done the market analysis, like this is just one person pumping out all these videos. Like this is crazy.
Oh yeah.
But the
No, I used to
truth
think
of the
that
matter is
too.
that there's so many people. It's a village, literally a village, a town. You know,
Yeah, I
behind
used to
this
think he's just
beast.
like the YouTube guru, and
Right.
just knows everything, and he just wins by default. He actually has just a massive like support network. He is a good curator of information. He just surrounds himself with good sources of information, and he just has to make executive decisions, and things get done.
Mhm.
So yeah, it is very impressive, like how little he relies on himself to make this behemoth run.
What shocked me about him too is that I thought he just kind of came out of nowhere. He's been on the platform for like a decade.
Yeah, he did.
Like you go back to his earlier stuff and it was just like him playing Minecraft. Like he was like one of those like Minecraft guys, and he just like in over time like lived YouTube and figured it out, right? Like it wasn't like when you see people blow up like that, like you don't see all the planning they did, you know, and the sleepless nights and all that stuff before they hit that critical mass and blow up. It's like so much work goes into it. It's true.
Yeah, it's a
And
crazy
market
story.
analysis, yeah, you know, and market analysis is definitely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Like, you know, for personally, and you know, everybody's different. I do YouTube. I wanted to start it off to kind of break away from the day job and you know, not have to wake up every day and commute, and you know, have my life basically stolen out from under me. But you know, extenuating circumstances like healthcare and having to pay for healthcare in the United States and all this other stuff. Like there's like a whole debt overhang that you have to accept. So you have to I would have to make as much on YouTube or selling courses or whatever to mirror what I'm making at my job, and it's like it's a crazy goal. But so the catch-22 is you have to produce enough content, but the content has to be good and it has to be constantly growing and constantly bettering itself to gain the viewership, to gain the traffic, to sustain a business. And you need time to do that. Well, the time doesn't happen when you have, you know, the all this other crap going on. So it's like this catch-22. It's like chicken before the egg. It's like, you know, and it's always doing this, always. And
And there's
it's
so many
insane.
moving parts too. Like the presentation of the content, like the title thumbnail combination, is worth at least, I'd say, like 60 to 70% of the initial success of the video.
Wow, that much.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
especially, but you can game it once you've got some traffic, because like if you can build like regular viewership, people that will watch you for you, then it becomes less about that and more about the content itself. So like I like to call it like the presentation, like the title, thumbnail, context, all that.
Yeah.
That's responsible for like short-term, pretty much all short-term traffic, and then the quality of the video seems to be responsible for long-term growth.
Yeah. Which is nice because I don't have like giant numbers, but the numbers I have, they seem to be a lot of learners in that mix. The questions I get and everything, like it's kind of like I'm targeting the people I want to target. So like I don't have the mass appeal. I mean, like okay, the Meat Monster has mass appeal because tons of people watch Danger Swings. But other than that, like you know, and we all do that to a certain degree. You know, like I put out a risky video, the last one I did, only because I there's one company in particular that likes to issue takedowns, but I used that and I mixed it with other things and just said, all right, I just want to do this monster thing, and you know, it's doing all right. But like, it's tough because you got to find what's working, and then you got to kind of build on that, right? Like I've seen like Daniel, what you've done, and you hit it early on with like these like crazy videos. Like you went above and beyond the stuff that we would do, and like, all right, I'm gonna do like every modifier in the entire stack in a video, and I'm gonna stay up 5 nights in a row and make this video. And
So
like people
helpful,
saw
by
it,
the
they're
way.
like, wow, that's crazy, you know. And then you like figured out the bosses in Minecraft, or what was it, the desktop icons, right? So you kind of like hit these mass market things, and then it just kind of ballooned, right? And then you just kind of look at your stats, and you're like, all right, this is working. Let's just do more of that. And then your videos are funny, so they're engaging, right? Like your personality comes through, which is fun and you know likable. So it's kind of working. Am I hitting the nail there?
Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of one big split test, but the hard part about it is that sometimes what you want, like sometimes like views is not what you want. Like if you're trying to make like a niche, if you want to like sell a Blender product, you do not want a broad audience.
Yeah, you don't.
And so that's where split testing gets hard. It's like, okay, so how do I split test for a Blender to get a Blender audience? Because the views doesn't matter. I could make a funny Blender video and not one person from that viewership actually uses Blender. Like it's very difficult. And so I think something that some people will run into is like they find a good vein of content to make, but it doesn't contribute to their greater purpose or goal. And then now we have to change it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like in the internet marketing space years ago when people would come on and brag about the size of their mailing lists. And it's like, yeah, so you have a mailing list of, 300,000 people. How many buyers are in that list?
Right.
Exactly. Meanwhile,
like, I guarantee you, like, so one example in our space is Ducky. Let me see. So Ducky 3D, it's around like 10,000 to like 50,000 views a video.
Yeah.
Right.
Over about a week. Yeah.
And he's got like 200,000 subscribers. I can guarantee you, I don't know anything about his financials or anything, but I can probably guarantee you that he is much more well off than most channels with 1 million subscribers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's monetized it. Yeah, he's hit the nail. I mean, he grew it as a business.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like I've been focused on that myself just because I like to teach, but I like to teach people who want to learn.
Yeah.
So I've been like kind of focusing on that angle, and it kind of works. The crux is like the biggest one in the space is probably Ian, who's just like been able to like leverage years, a decade or more, 2 decades or whatever of content he's been producing on his own for shows that he's been doing on his own, that he has all this stuff to just offer people, and just he's a likable person. You hit him up on Twitter and he responds, and he's just a cool guy, right? So it's like he just hit the nail on the head, and his Patreon is like 4,000 or 5,000 people, right? So it totally works for him.
I want to jump in just to put that into perspective, because what Daniel said there is really important. Because my channel was like fully sustainable at about 30,000 subs. What I mean is that's enough for me to make like a living, not like a comfortable living, but that was enough to survive. At 30,000, didn't need any more, and that's because the audience was very Blender specific. You can start selling resources, that's fine, affiliates and whatever. Like I was doing a lot of affiliates last month. Like I'm on 97 or 98, 97 point something now, I think. But
close.
At the moment, like if I did one video, well, technically if I had like a better affiliate rate, I could probably survive off 2 videos a year, if they were like well-made affiliate ones. So just put into perspective, if you've got a very hyper-specific audience, like Daniel's saying, rather than a broad one, then it's a lot easier to market to. And the mailing list is very helpful as well, because like on the first 2 years, I was giving a lot of free stuff away, and I built up like a really big mailing list on Gumroad. That's on about 70,000 people.
That was so genius.
So
it was. I mean,
that was my
I
trap
saw that
card.
early on. I'm like, he's building a list. This is genius.
That was a trap card, and that list has come in handy. Because like again, that list alone is enough to survive off without the YouTube channel. But again, the problem of you don't want to like overdo anything. You don't want to annoy people. So I try and make sure that it's not all like just products or sales. Like it links back to the YouTube. So like I've been doing this month, it's like, okay, well, let's link some of the mailing list people back to YouTube and get them like on a bit of a like a refreshing loop to know why they're there anyway. But yeah, so you really don't need a broad audience. And even like at the beginning of this year when I did the LiDAR one, like the first video that got over 1 million views on the channel and stuff, part of me was sitting there going, please don't sub. Like, please don't sub, because now it's hitting like, of course I want like a fast sub growth, but the problem is I want a consistent growth, not like a spike. because
Yeah.
I don't want the fall off from that spike like right afterwards. Thankfully that didn't happen, and again with like the Unreal video, which kind of went up a bit. So it's like, yeah, exactly what Daniel said. Like, that's a super important point, and I think I probably spoke about it on the podcast once before. But if you understand where your audience is coming from, then yeah, you don't need a huge one, and maybe it's not always the thing that you should be searching for.
Talking about huge audience, I don't have a huge audience, but then I think I have the consistent audience. Like all the comment section, I can actually point on this person came at least 5 times and commented and watched the video. And obviously now all my videos, all my best videos, which I think I actually worked on really hard, are over the number of subscribers that I have, which I think it's a huge win for me. It's like normally, generally, like when I started live streaming every single day, it put my channel down so much that I never wanted to live stream again. It's like it's not getting enough things, but it's not getting enough views. It's like not contributing anything. It's just the people who watch the live stream. That's it, and none other are coming back and looking for what I did. And it is November, like the hype will be for 1 day, 2 day.
Oh.
And the first one was good, but then it just died off. And it's like, okay, I'm just doing this for fun for me. So I just continued for a while until I got my exams in the middle. And after that, I started working on actual videos and pushing myself so that I can put out good content for people. And people actually liked it, and they started coming consistent afterwards. And it's really amazing. I never expected, like, none of my friends, like none of my classmates or anyone know what I do. Like they don't even know what Blender is, probably, because I mean, if I asked them, they would have subscribed. That's not the case. But I never wanted, like, immediate subscribers. Like the people. I can tell them, like, can you subscribe for my channel, so it's good for me. But then they never watch a video. There's no point of them subscribing as well.
Yeah.
So
subscribers as a metric is fairly meaningless. So
except you get that plaque.
Exactly, like they incentivize it really. I mean, and I think the only reason it's still there is because the whole play button subscriber thing has been built really hard into YouTube's brand. I think otherwise it would have been long gone, because it doesn't even mean it doesn't even mean you subscribe in the traditional sense. You don't get notified of their videos. You have to press a separate button just to do that. It literally does not do anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
What matters for a YouTube channel is a different metric that is not even there. It's regular viewers.
YouTube will send out, right, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you publish a video, YouTube will send out an initial burst of notifications, and then based off of the viewership of those notifications and the watch time metric, it'll either decide this video is worth pushing to more people, or this video is not getting good response, let's limit it.
Well, the notifications and the subscriptions feed and the browse features, like the homepage, those are all separate algorithms, so they actually don't cross over that much. YouTube will send notifications to people who have notifications on your channel turned on. Hit the bell, basically. They'll also send out an initial burst into YouTube homepage browse features, and see, like, and that's usually how they gauge it, because like videos that they put into suggested will perform differently than videos that go on the homepage. So they have separate algorithms to kind of determine what will succeed where, and it's very smart. YouTube is getting very good at determining what any given viewer will want to watch. And so they'll basically dish it to a smaller audience, people that they think are guaranteed to want to enjoy the video. And if it performs well with them, like above average, then they will dish it to the next best audience. And they'll keep doing that until it stops performing well. And it's a continuous process, which is why sometimes you'll see a video that was dead just blow up out of nowhere. And that's pretty much how it works as far as I understand it.
The top left video on my YouTube home is always something I'm not interested in at all. It's like, you won't believe what blah, blah, blah. It's only the top left one, and I thought about doing a video on this because it's so irritating. Upon every refresh, there's just more trash. It's like the top left video on your YouTube home, at least for me, is always something completely unrelated to what the rest of them are. The rest are consistent, it's like Unreal, Blender, cinematography.
Yeah.
But for some reason,
I don't get that.
that one grid. No?
Hmm.
Interesting. It is 100% the case for me.
Last year at some point, I think when they were making changes to the homepage, I had this weird thing where every time I loaded the homepage, only the top left video would not appear. Like, and every other one would. It would just be like this kind of blank space. I just thought that was weird.
And it's different for everybody because they are always split testing. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that. Split testing.
Eleni Drake, some person doing a cover of a song that I don't know. If I refresh, now it's some other person. This is how Aurora tests the microphone. If I refresh, okay, Elder Scrolls, close. If I refresh, when your audiences are competent musicians.
We were like talking about something, or I was playing a game, and then I like open up YouTube, and it's all related to that topic.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
we were just talking about
Yeah.
that recently.
I know.
Oh yeah, it was Doom
God.
Eternal. I was playing Doom Eternal, and then I go on YouTube and just everything is Doom Eternal.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a cookie. That's cookies. If you have cookies set in your browser, there are websites that'll read those cookies, find out what you're interested in, and like the advertising is across across channels all over the internet.
Just interesting
so
as part
stuff
of
follows you
YouTube
around.
recommendation.
Yep, they all use it. They all use these feeds. Then you can buy into some of those feeds.
This is the price
you can get access to that advertising data. The product is free, but because you are the product.
Yeah.
The entire tech industry, we are the product. They're selling us to advertisers. That's the whole business model.
We had a conversation about Instagram tracking people on ads on the BlenderNest server, and oh man, I'm so passionate about it because I noticed it was a problem back on my old Samsung phone when like random things. I would walk past my mum talking about like a certain shoe brand, Hush Puppies is what it was, and then like literally I'd go upstairs and there'd be Hush Puppies on my phone. I'd be like, okay, I never look up shoes, don't know anything about it, that's too weird. And then I found out that you can actually see the interests that it thinks you're interested in. And then when I read through those, I was like, oh my god, this is mind-blowing because it misunderstood things I said.
Wait, how do you do that?
Okay, so they hide it under the security section. So when I read through that originally, I thought this is crazy because it's misheard me say things. So I would talk about a game called Elite Dangerous really often. And it thought I liked a makeup brand called like Ellie something else. And it was like
Ellen DeGeneres?
It wasn't Ellen DeGeneres. it was something different. Thank God, no. It was something different. But I was like, the only way that would pop up is if it heard Elite Dangerous and thought it was something else. Then there's other things. CBD changed to CB2. There was also another Elite one, which was Elite Modeling Agency. And then me and Charan talked about K-pop like a couple of days ago. And we mentioned a couple of names of K-pop stars. Suddenly I've got those names in my ad interest feed. I've never looked up K-pop ever, like on that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. I never did as well. I always try to not look up K-pop.
If you want to play along, go into your Instagram settings, go into account, actually no, don't go into account, damn it. Instagram settings, security, access data. This is thanks to Curtis who linked us to all this.
Are you on an iPhone or not?
On an iPhone, yeah, but I believe it should be the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, for me too.
And under security, access data, and then under access data, scroll down all the way down. They hide it from you to ads, interest, and hit view all. And
there you go.
Notice
BlenderNest is on there. You have to subscribe.
Notice two things, right? So they don't even put the ad interest in the ad section of the settings. They hide it in security. And the second thing is they only show you a few interests at a time. Because I think they know you're going to find some weird stuff in there. So you have to keep pressing show me more. So you go through the feed.
Dude, this is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, one of mine is just female. What does that mean?
But like, there was another weird thing as well. Like I've said the word plushie like once or twice this year. I've got a weird memory. Yeah, I remember it, right? It was February. And I saw plush on there, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I've had this phone since the beginning of the year, and it's been listening to every conversation I've had."
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then I was one day before, right? Okay.
Hey, what's that?
Speculative
Blender
friction.
Nice.
Coco Chanel.
So
I like
basically,
speculative friction. That's brilliant.
so I
I
was
did-
talking to a friend about what is this hard drive, Seagate hard drive, especially. I think even now it's listening to me. So tomorrow I'm gonna get this ad. The next
It's
day,
true.
You
immediately,
can disable
I
it, by
got
the
the
way. I
same
should say
hard.
that.
Yeah, there's a disable button, right, for that?
I can't remember where
Hopefully.
it was. I know I did it on my Samsung. Alternatively, I think you can disable the microphone, but Facebook and Instagram share data, so disable it for the appropriate things.
I didn't install Facebook at all. I don't use
Or
it
delete your
anyway.
account.
Or delete your
Yeah, exactly. I did.
Yeah, sorry.
So
Karen.
basically, what happened was,
It's amazing how
yeah.
much data, like tech.
Oh, and WhatsApp.
knows about us.
And WhatsApp. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, because they're all Facebook companies.
Yeah. So and then the next day, I immediately got the same thing. Like, I have this hard drive, and I got the same hard drive as an ad. I was like, I never searched for one. I just
Yep.
said it once the day before, and the next day I got ad. I just took the screenshot of the ad and I sent it to my friend. It's like, how did I get this ad? And they're like, it's actually listening to what we are talking, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's damn it.
It's doing it so
Scary,
much.
dude.
We're going to London, right, on this coming weekend. And my mom just said offhandedly, I want to go to the M&M store because she loves M&Ms. M&M ad.
Oh, you have one of those there?
Yeah, M&M ad straight
Yep.
away on Instagram. Like, it's just so
The rapper?
predictable. Yeah,
I do love those stores.
Yeah.
There's one in Vegas. I love it.
Oh, man.
It's
Oh,
when they
damn
miss
it.
target ads. So my partner opened up her phone today and was like, why have I got all these adverts? Because we've been setting up the office. As like I've been talking about moving my NAS or making sure it's all set up, and all this. And she's getting adverts for the whole lot. And I'm like, but some of these things we've only talked about speculatively, like whether or not to get a projector or a big TV. I mean, we've had the conversation once. I definitely haven't searched for projectors.
Yeah.
Boom, there it is. It's just like
Yeah.
it's that sort of fine line. If I'm searching for something, I expect to see adverts for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm just having private conversations, I feel like that's just a little bit of a step over.
Not a little bit. It's a huge step
It's
over.
manipulative.
Well, there's a movie, or it's a documentary on Netflix. It's called The Social Dilemma, or
Yeah.
you know, it basically details every single thing we're talking about, and it goes way deeper. It's insane. Like you'll want to just burn your smartphone after watching it, but you won't because you're addicted to it, and we need them, and we live on these things. But like, it's insidious.
I kind of want to have a look at mine again.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
These are insane. A lot of them are really spot on.
Let us know what some of the things that came up on your search were in the comment sections, and we'll read them because we'd be curious to know. And if you don't have Instagram or Facebook, or you don't have any of these kind of weird security data stuff, also let us know why, because I'd be curious to know. And if you haven't already, but you like where the conversation is going so far, subscribe, like the video, share it with a friend. It really
Hit
helps
the
us
bell
channel out.
icon. We need to
Hit the
remember
bell
that, so you
so
know
that you
to
get
need the bell icon.
notification.
Yeah.
Do all the jazzy YouTube things so that this channel can keep growing.
Oh, my
And
God.
we're
I
back.
will do jazz
We're back,
hands.
baby. We're back.
I'm looking up now, and I'm remembering Marilyn Monroe. Never looked her up. Mentioned her in a conversation about conspiracy theories once this year.
What was
My
the theory?
Damn it.
I'm not. I'm not
I've not used Instagram on my phone like twice or something, so I'll be very interested to see what it comes up with.
This has been a good one, by the way. I like this. This is
It
good
has.
shit.
It's a good return to BlenderNest.
Yeah,
Indeed.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Six of
Why?
us, which is a really nice
Fills out
number.
Yeah.
Grid.
It does. It fills up the screen.
Also, thanks for popping in, Daniel, as well. It's been really nice speaking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice
know.
seeing you too. It's been too long. I don't know how often I'll show up though. I'm typically fairly busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah. It's all right. It's all good.
It's all right. It's okay. Doesn't. Oh, I don't know if anyone knows that song. Right.
No
I
one
don't
knows.
think so.
Only you knows it.
Yeah.
It was created in your head.
So it turns out if you don't use the app, it says your account doesn't have any information to show here. But now it's open and it's heard me talk.
Yeah, check back on that later, or like tomorrow.
Okay, say some random name right now so that we all pronounce it and see if that works.
Say Audrey Hepburn.
Audrey
is that?
Hepburn.
Audrey Hepburn.
All right, we'll see if that pops up
Dolce
sometime.
and Gabbana.
Dolce and Gabbana.
Oh dear.
Gabbana.
Yes.
It probably knows. It's probably smart. It's like, well, he's got it open. He's looking at this, so we're not going to record anything he says right
Yeah.
now. Just in
Yeah.
case.
We're rumbled.
Yeah.
Bugatti.
Carsyoucan'tafford.com.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you like this content, please let us know by giving this video a like. That thumbs up goes a long way to make this channel a bigger and better and happier place, at least for us. Subscribe if you haven't already, because that way you will get to see more of this content and join us for this journey. And please consider hitting the notification bell so that you don't miss a single thing. BlenderNest is back, baby. Hit us up on the server. We've got a Discord server. It's in the link, the description. And thanks so much, DanielKrafft, for joining us today for this wonderful edition of BlenderNest.
Nice.
It's
Amazing.
gonna be like a lucky flick now.
Now you've got to put that at the
Thanks.
beginning. Editor, put that at the beginning of the video, not an hour and 20 in.
True.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are the hand signals for that?
I don't know. I have to write a note. Yeah, I'm gonna end this now.